Please welcome Sofia to the podium.
Hi. Good morning to everyone. A special good morning to faculty, staff, my peers' families, and my family. The first class of the semester, Norm asks his students to introduce themselves with your first memory of drawing. Mine is my mother. A single mom that traveled often for work, it was a gift if she could stay a couple minutes when she dropped me off at school. The other moms would usually visit our classroom, maybe read the class a book or bring treats. But my mom, she created worlds. My first memory of drawing is in my kindergarten classroom, with the morning sun shining onto the half-size table and chairs. She grabbed some crayons and colored pencils and drew me on a rocket ship. It was red and purple with fins on the side, and a little window at the top was me inside. Seeing my hair trailing off into the tailwinds of my new ride, all my friends started gathering around the table and asking for my mom to draw their faces in the windows of the imaginary vehicle. In minutes, she created a fantasy where me and my friends were jumping from planet to planet, making friends with aliens, and driving our own spaceships. With a little bit of wax on paper, she told a story that made the whole room vibrate with energy. All of us, architects, illustrators, sculptors, designers, tell stories of things that used to be or that we hope will become true. We tell stories to start conversations or to build new futures. Our sculptures, drawings, and films are experiences that bring others into our world. Our stories bend, shape, and erase rules so that we can dream of riding a rocket ship all the way to another galaxy. So as artists and designers, we have the toolkit and agency to tell stories that change the world by creating new ones. So with a little bit of wax on paper, what stories do you choose to tell? When I was little, drawing or crafting usually meant spending time with my mother. But because she traveled so regularly, I more often cherished the goodnight calls and all the little presents she would bring me back from her travels. Skirts and bangles from India, macaroons from Paris, doll shoes from markets in China, things she wanted to give me from places she had been. But during the summer, I was the one that went away. I would travel to be with my dad in Venezuela, where he lived. So one year, when I came back to my mother's house, she had a surprise for me. I walked into my room to see the most beautiful big mural painted on my wall. The entire wall was wrapped in orange paint, with the silhouette of a tree in white. And the branches had the same movement and line quality as the drawings from before school. Unlike the doll shoes, the bangles, and the macaroons, it was something she made. It was a gift to me from inside our home. She didn't have to go anywhere to get it. The tree was her gift to me when I was away. Something she painted as a reflection of her connection to me. On my wall was the story of her love. I became a maker watching my mom draw and have an entire room vibrate with energy. My mom chose stories to tell that created connections with those around her, but even more so, to get close to me. It was through my mom that I saw the power of stories through making, but it wasn't until RISD that I found what stories I wanted to tell. My second year here in industrial design, I was challenged to make a wooden toy that would teach small children about the base 10 number system. And like the good design student I am, I went and talked to a ton of parents and teachers, researched about 3 to 5-year-olds, and started brainstorming ideas with my friends. So if I made my colored blocks connect vertically into the stories of a building with 10 stories, Kids would start to visualize numbers as individual groups of 10. But if I put them horizontally into a train, they would start seeing numbers as long, continuous lines with sections of 10. Picking colors, shapes, and how the kids would interact with the toy was really imagining how I wanted them to think. As a designer, I wasn't choosing the form of an object, but creating a story about trains or buildings that would control how kids would think about counting, math, and numbers for the rest of their lives. I remember turning to my studio mate while we were brainstorming and realizing that we were kind of playing God. The story that I chose to tell, trains or buildings, was going to affect not only the moment the kids played with the toy, but how they interacted with the entire world around them. So after hours in studio and countless pounds of sawdust in my shoes, I finished my design. And I've never felt as empowered as the day I tested it for the very first time. I came in and sat my toy down in front of a 5-year-old and watched him stack some colored blocks. But it was really like watching your very best friend unwrap a present you had handpicked with love and care. In a sudden urge, he got up and ran over to his sister so that they could play together. My design choices had inspired him to explore, become curious, creative, and run over to his sister so that they could play together. My design choices had inspired connection, just like my mom. Soon, all 3 siblings were stacking blocks, creating houses, and putting their dolls and toy cars inside the house. Then magically, the houses became caves, and the dolls became robots, and they were running around the house to go attack the evil dragon, me, with their newfound magnet powers. With the toys I had made, they began imagining themselves in a whole other world, with the same buzz of animation that my mother's drawings had for me. That day, I found my power as a maker and how much I loved creating worlds where people imagine themselves with superpowers. The last 4 years have felt exactly like my kindergarten classroom, full of magic and excitement around crayons and colored pencils, because I've been surrounded by my peers telling their own stories. Our work sparks joy, unpacks complicated and questions heart-wrenching and complicated histories, explores the most outlandish capabilities of materials and technology, and creates space for people to feel seen. We have the ability to tell stories and bring them into this world. We have the capacity to materialize something that lives in the imagination. And we've been making things every day for 4 years that didn't exist until our hands touched it. And no one has the capacity to tell the story that we have to tell, that I have to tell, that you have to tell. RISD has given us the tools to tell stories, but it's our responsibility as artists and designers to use those tools responsibly and build the worlds that we want to see. RISD has shown us the power of making, but it's our responsibility to use that power to create connection with those around us. So, with your little bit of wax on paper, what stories do you choose to tell? Thank you.